Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Forgotten Games. My name's Fringlish, and with JJ, we're here to talk about Assassin's Creed The Fall. After the review of the Fallout New Vegas comic, we wanted to shift gears a little bit and talk about Assassin's Creed. We like to talk about this comic, Assassin's Creed The Fall. Originally planned to be about the famed assassin Ezio Auditore, the writers instead decided to make it its own standalone thing. It was essentially tie-in material to Assassin's Creed 3, a whole year before it came out. Assassin's Creed The Fall, a comic book miniseries that spanned 3 issues, follows the dual perspectives of Daniel Cross, a prominent antagonist in Assassin's Creed 3, and Nikolai Orelov, the protagonist of the spin-off game Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia. Daniel Cross is the more interesting of the 2 protagonists. We felt like Nikolai was mostly done for world building, as his story was by the beat sort of thing, as it skips to random parts of his life, the first being a mission to steal a piece of Eden from Tsar Alexander III. For context, Alexander was an extremely unpopular and hated star at the time, so of course they'd have him be a Templar antagonist. We could say that the comic book choreography when Nikolai boards the train and starts killing guards was pretty brutal and akin to the games, so it's quite a positive to get the gaming sort of action and medium portrayed in the comic book setting. Nikolai, while trying to search for Alexander and his piece of Eden, is ambushed by the man himself, as the train crashes and the Tsar taunts Nikolai by handing him a piece of Eden and telling him to strike at him, and then easily blocking his move. As the reader, you're not sure if Alexander was actually a martial artist, although in truth, I doubt it. But damn, this guy has a point to prove. He overpowers Nikolai and lets him live, telling him to scurry back to the assassins like a rat. The next event is Nikolai savagely beating a Templar for information on where the Staff of Eden is. After some beating, the Templar reveals that it's in Siberia, and so the assassins order his throat slit as he rides off with some others from his group. As per Assassin's Creed tradition, they have the protagonists Forrest Gump everything, as Nikolai Tesla is an ally of the assassins, and the Templars stole his electrical machine. Heading to the location, the machine explodes, leaving Nikolai the sole survivor, as he returns to his wife battered and broken. The next part happens in 1917 during the Russian Revolution, as Vladimir Lenin himself sends a letter to Nikolai, requesting that he take out Tsar Nicholas II. As expected, Nikolai infiltrates Nick's palace, and demands to know where the staff is. Nicholas brings him to the staff, but Nikolai quickly deduces that it's a fake. He spares Nicholas, warning him that the next assassin that goes after him will not be so kind, and tracks the piece of Eden he was looking for to the corpse of Grigory Rasputin, who was historically murdered about the same time. Nikolai even tells the other 2 assassins to burn the body. With that, they wrap up Nikolai's story by having him and his family plan to move to America. And that leads us to the present-day storyline with Daniel Cross, the great-grandson of Nikolai. We're introduced to Cross as a mentally ill, rough man being prescribed medicine he doesn't want to take. Right off the bat, we see Cross as a troubled, violent guy. Later, he goes to a bar and tries to hit on women and shit, and he has an excessive amount to drink and vomits in the bathroom. As a man tries to help him, Cross becomes violent and threatens to murder him, as he keeps on having flashes to the memories of his ancestor. For as short as this comic miniseries is, it manages to be quite intense. This all happens before a woman, Hannah Mueller, stops him from acting on these impulses. Throughout the story, she seems to be a calming voice and whatnot for Cross. She is the one who first inducts him into the Assassin's Brotherhood, as Cross wakes up from being drunk and is introduced to a camp in the Assassin's Creed. Meeting Paul Bellamy, a character implied to be related to Aveline de Camp, Cross doesn't want to stay and attacks 2 of the assassins who try to prevent him from leaving before being restrained by Bellamy. From here, Daniel Cross learns the way of the assassins, and as Sean Hastings described Desmond Miles in Assassin's Creed 3, Daniel Cross managed to be quite the promising assassin. Eventually, he discusses with Hannah about how he felt a calling with the Grand Master of the Assassins, before eventually meeting him in Dubai. The Grand Master tells him about the ancient traditions of the Grand Masters, and also gives him a ceremonial blade, telling him that he's earned it. Before long, it's revealed that Daniel Cross is a sleeper agent for the Templars, as he gets the urge to murder the Grand Master in cold blood, not understanding himself what he's done as the Grand Master dies, remarking how he underestimated the Templars. This is a direct chain of events that leads to the Assassin's Purge. So yes, we like how this comic gives a lot of context for the events of modern day's Assassin's Creed. It certainly made Daniel Cross a more interesting character than the disturbed supporting antagonist in Assassin's Creed 3. although the game itself still does falter for having him be killed off so damn quickly. But we get to see he was extremely efficient and a crucial part of the Assassin's Creed timeline, as he's the catalyst itself for the Assassin's Purge. As for the illustrations, we have to say it's pretty good. None of the characters look ugly or off, they're very well portrayed, and it's a well-drawn comic. Overall, we enjoyed this comic for getting a good piece of expanded lore on the Assassin's Creed franchise, before it became too oversaturated. So with that being said, that's our review of Assassin's Creed The Fall. Perhaps we'll look into the follow-up comic Assassin's Creed The Chain, that continues the story of Daniel Cross and Nikolai Orelov, and wraps up certain elements. Until then, it's the end.